Saving money makes you broke. Wait, what? What kind of absurdity is that? Right, that would be usually the initial reaction of many of us. After all, saving money is crucial for your future and to accumulate wealth. Or something like you should save money if you want to have a solid retirement fund. We've all heard about it over and over again, the necessity of saving for a variety of reasons. But what if we told you that saving money in the bank is not all it is hyped up to be? What if we told you that saving money would cost you more money in the long run? You surely think that's ridiculous, don't you? But you'd be mistaken. There is something that many people overlook when talking about long-term savings, and that is inflation. This is why we're explaining why saving isn't an effective strategy to secure your financial future today. We'll also talk about better methods to put your money to work for you and look at some better uses for savings accounts. So without any further ado, let's find out and learn how saving money can lead you to financial ruin. Welcome to Thrivetastic. If you're new here, why not hit that subscribe button and join our community? And as always guys, give this video a thumbs up for that YouTube algorithm. The issue with savings accounts is that putting money in a bank as a long-term project, whether for retirement or simply to have money work for itself, is a fundamentally flawed notion. The explanation for this may be summed up in a single word: inflation. However, to better appreciate the impact of inflation, we must first understand how savings accounts work. Savings accounts are quite simple. If you go to a bank and ask them to open an account, they may ask for a small deposit, and that's it. You have a savings account. The money in your savings account, on the other hand, is not fixed. It grows slowly over time as a result of the bank's interest payments. This interest is computed over specific periods. For example, if you have $10,000 in a savings account with a 1% interest rate computed yearly, you will receive an extra $100 at the end of the year. In most cases, interest is compounded, which means you gain money not just from your deposits but also from the interest. Continuing with the previous example, in your second year, you now have a beginning balance of $10,100, which is your initial deposit plus the interest you earned from your first year. Now, in the second year, you will again earn another 1% interest. That is, you will receive an additional $101 rather than simply $100. So the more money you have, the more interest you get, and it continues to accumulate. Annual percentage yield, or APY, is the word used to describe that growth over time. And it is what tells you how much money your investments will earn over time. Maybe you're wondering why banks offer you money for saving. It's because they use your money to lend to their other customers. So the income earned by your savings is essentially the same as the interest they get from things like loans or credit cards. You may be wondering, what's the problem with that? If I leave money in the bank, they give me extra money without asking me to do anything. In an ideal world, it would be enough. However, we do not live in a perfect world. This is where inflation comes in. Inflation is the rate at which a currency's purchasing power diminishes over time. Because this is typically reflected as an increase in the price level of essential goods and services, this rate is expressed as a percentage. Okay, if that definition is too complicated, let's simplify it some more. The greater the rate of inflation, the less your money is worth because goods and services are becoming more expensive. Let's look at a simple example. In 2002, the average price of a movie ticket was $5.81, and this is according to the film industry's financial website. In 2012, it was $7.96, and today, in 2022, it is around $9.16, depending on where you reside. So, between 2002 and 2012, the price of a movie ticket increased by around 3.7% per year. And between 2012 and now, it has increased by another 1.5%. That's what inflation is. Your money loses worth as it becomes more expensive. Things were worth more 10 years ago than they are today. Yet price rises and inflation is rather common. The issue is that not everything, including savings accounts, accounts for it. You can see where this is headed now. If the interest earned on money in a savings account is less than the rate of inflation for that year, the money will be worth less than its value at the time it was deposited. And you may be thinking, I just need to find a savings account with an APY that beats the average rate of inflation. Well, good luck with that, my friend. As you can see, bank account interest rates are not exceptionally high. According to the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, or the FDIC, the national average APY for a regular savings account is only 0.07%. And even the so-called high-yield savings accounts have an APY of between 0.40 and 0.60%. And what was the inflation rate in 2021? A staggering 7%. That's nearly 12 times what you'd get from a savings account. Everyone who put their money in the bank at that time lost far more than they gained. Even in low inflation years, you may expect inflation rates of more than 1%, which is far greater than what you would earn from a bank. Let's return to the $10,000 in savings and utilize real-world inflation and APY rates based on a realistic inflation rate of 1.23%, as seen from 2019 to 2020. If you saved $10,000 between 2019 and 2020 in a savings account with an APY of 0.07, you would have made $7 for a total of $10,007. A high-yield savings account with an APY of 0.6% would have been $60, which would be $10,060 in total. But here comes an inflation rate of 1.23%. which would be $123 decrease in value. So your $10,007 in reality is only $9,884. So you lost $116. On the higher end, that $10,060 is now worth $9,936.30. So you lost $64. This is the problem with long-term savings and inflation. So instead of making money, you're losing it. Saving through investments. If you want to beat inflation and have a long-term gain, you should invest rather than put your money in a savings account. While almost everyone understands what an investment is, very few people understand how buying something that increases in value over time is an effective way to both save and make money. When people say you need to make your money earn more money, this is what they mean. You must invest in things that will increase in value over time. What those things are will vary greatly. And what works best for you in terms of investment options will rely on how well you understand finances and the various markets available. Maybe you're in a great position to invest in real estate, or maybe buying stocks works better for you because the value of the stocks grows by the value of the firm they represent. You could even invest in cryptocurrency, but it comes with a little more risk. Buying collectibles or luxury products such as a limited edition comic book or a luxury watch can also be an investment choice. This may seem counterintuitive, but history proves that these items can generate substantial value over time. It all comes down to looking at the market. So here are some of the greatest and relatively safe long-term investment options to consider. Certificates of deposit. Certificates of deposit, or CDs, are issued by banks and offer a much higher interest rate than traditional savings accounts. CDs can be obtained for 1 to 2 years. The main disadvantage is that they will lock up your money for that period. However, the longer you lock it up, the higher the interest rate you will earn. S&P 500 Index Funds. If a long-term investment is your goal, invest in index funds such as the S&P 500. Because index funds offer immediate diversification, the S&P 500 allows you to invest in the top 500 American firms such as Amazon and Berkshire Hathaway. Dividend stock funds. Investing in stocks is always risky because you can never fully predict how the market will behave. But you can reduce that risk by looking for stocks that pay dividends, which are a percentage of the company's profit. If you can find a company with a healthy profile, this can be an effective way to go. Lastly, renting real estate. If you have the time and dedication to manage your property, buying and renting out real estate can be an excellent means of generating money in the long run. Rent prices are adjusted for inflation, so you don't have to worry about issues arising from it. But keep in mind that in renting real estate, you may occasionally have to deal with expensive repairs and, of course, finding good tenants. Short-term versus long-term savings. Now, we'd like to make clear that saving money in a bank isn't entirely a bad thing. It certainly beats having money hidden in a piggy bank or digging a hole in the ground and putting it inside a treasure chest. Unless you're attempting to become a modern treasure hunter. The problem with savings is that they are ineffective for long-term initiatives. As we have learned, inflation will depreciate the value of your savings over time, even in high-yield accounts. So the longer your money sits in a bank account, the more you lose. But that doesn't mean that saving money in this manner isn't useful. Saving money is a great idea for short to medium-term undertakings, or simply having something to rely on in case of emergencies. One disadvantage of long-term investment options is that they are inconvenient when you need money right immediately, because your money is either held up for a long time or there isn't much flexibility in how you can utilize it. So here are the best two uses for a savings account number. Number 1. Putting money aside for major expenses. Sometimes you want to make a large purchase, such as a new car or home, or you want to do some costly repairs around the house. Perhaps even go on vacation or pay off debt. This kind of fund is called sinking fund. It is a savings account that is suitable for these kinds of projects since your money is not a risk. You can simply keep track of it, and making deposits is simple. You can easily budget based on the number of deposits you make and the amount you keep in the bank. You know what you want to do with this money, and you probably have a good idea of when you want to do it. Number 2. An emergency fund. Setting money aside for a stormy day is a great way to use a savings account. Sure, the money won't grow over time as other investment options might, but you know it'll always be there when you need it. And that's the point, right? The distinction between an emergency fund and a sinking fund is that you don't have a clear plan for the money you put aside in an emergency fund. You don't know when or why you'll need it, but this is a means to be prepared for an unforeseen situation, and it provides a lot of peace of mind. So, to sum it all up, savings accounts are easy to open, provide immediate access to funds, and keep your money relatively safe. They're excellent tools for managing your money in the short to medium term, but don't use them to save for retirement, or at least not as your sole option. If you want to put your money to work, you should instead consider investing in stocks, bonds, renting real estate, or other alternatives. What works best for you will be determined by how much risk you're willing to take. If you don't want to lose money on your investments, make sure you do your research and understand how each option works. Here are some bonus tips for sticking with us until the end. According to IMF research, interest rates in the United States are predicted to be around 3.4% by the end of 2022 and around 2% in 2023. Thus, $10,000 will be worth $340 less by the end of the year and another $200 by 2023. So your $10,000 would be worth $9,460 in 2 years. Even with a 0.6% APY, that's still $9,718 at the end of 2022 and $9,524 by the end of 2023. That's why if I were you, I would think twice about putting my money in a savings account. What about investing it instead? Thank you for watching this Thrivetastic video. So if you found it valuable, consider subscribing to our channel and joining our awesome community. And if you're still hungry for more, we handpicked this awesome Thrivetastic video for you to watch next.